Hi there, it's Jessie here. Welcome to the channel and a big warm welcome if you're coming back. And if you're completely new and you clicked on my face, hi and welcome. All right, guys, so I've got some making up to do. So I'm going to talk about that. So I posted a video yesterday. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you haven't. It will be coming down. I just need to explain everything that I've learned from this video. It's quite unbelievable. So first things first, yesterday I was extremely triggered, okay? I had encountered some people I sort of knew, I had connections with, and their stories, what they're going through at the moment, triggered pain in me, the pain of betrayal. Okay, so here I am in the video getting pretty angry at other people. But really what was happening in that video is it touched on my wound of betrayal. And I had seen an example of that going on outside, and I couldn't tolerate it. And I say this in the video. I thought it was clear that I'm saying, listen, like here I am just freely expressing myself as a trigger. Because honestly, if I let myself talk out the shadow, act out and express out the shadow, normally it helps me reveal my deeper truth. And it did. But I've put myself in an interesting position where I'm doing this process on the internet. And the reason I'm going to take the video down is because I do share a little bit too much about people's personal lives, and it's not my place to do so. So I have learned that lesson. If I'm going to come on here and overshare and be super vulnerable and blah about my stuff, it cannot include other people's stories so vividly. So I have learned my lesson. Now, what else have I learned? So the energy that I'm in the video is I am triggered. I'm like low-key depressed at the moment. That's something everyone should know. I'm waking up not wanting to be here. And that takes quite a lot of energy for me to get out of that. And if something comes in and I can like hook onto that, boy, do I, because that's way easier than me dealing with my depression. Okay, I'm feeling a lot better today. I had a good night's sleep. And I'm also very excited about all of the content that's come out from that video, like all of the data and lessons that it's given me. So I've got something to get my teeth into again. But when I'm depressed, I'm not operating out of the frequency of love with this open heart. I'm in a defensive stance. And that's what happened yesterday. And of course, if I make a video where I'm triggered, it's going to trigger people. So the energy that I was coming at was like impatience. And I'm like, basically, people, do better. Do better. Stop hurting each other, right? Because it was touching on my own pain. And then curiously enough, I received a comment that's actually been taken down now, but I want to address it anyway. The comment was similar energy that I'm expressing in the video, which is like, tough love, come on people, do better. And I got that straight back to me, which is a wonderful lesson of you get what you give. So this comment was like, Jessie, do better. You're better than this. And yes, on a good day, yes, I am. And there are days when I'm depressed and with a closed heart and angry and frustrated and upset, and I'm a human. That's the main thing, because this comment said you present yourself as a spiritual person and a truth seeker. And that's not true. I don't present myself as that. I present myself as a human. Sometimes I am spiritual. Sometimes I am a truth seeker. And sometimes I'm juvenile and immature and a shitty human. Right? Because in this video, I'm like, humans are so shitty. I'm also a shitty human. I'm including myself in that. That's how I am some days. So I don't present myself as anything. I present myself as a human. All right? That's one thing to clear up. And the energy, it was the same thing. It was like, hey, do better. And it was it made me laugh, the irony of it. Like, here I am, like, blah, blah, blah. And of course, I'm going to get the same energy back. So anyway, the comments come down now. And I actually saw there was like a thread started and somebody else chimed in and they were in support of me. And I'm very, very grateful for what you could see in me, that it was more me processing, and there was coming up compassion, but I was also just letting myself express the emotion, somewhat immature emotion as well. But it also went a little bit mean. It rallied against this other woman, her comment. And I had seen it, but I was working. So my plan was to address it later on in the day, and say, hey, thank you for your support, but it doesn't mean we don't have to go us and them. Like, this woman's comment was in conversation. I felt like it was like, hey, and I'm okay with that energy because I bring it along. And this comment was targeting this other woman, like, don't worry, Jess, she's too sensitive. I appreciate where you're coming from, but nobody is too sensitive. Nobody. If anybody's super sensitive, they are the people we have to care for most in our community, because their sensitivity is for all of us. If they are sensitive to something, just because we're not, doesn't make them too sensitive. It means they are teaching us what we need to take care of. That's what sensitive people are. They're so needed. We really need to value them more. So just that. Anyway, the comment was taken down, so I wasn't able to moderate, but that's what I would have done. Then, interestingly, I got another comment, and it was really, really beautiful to see how when you come with compassion, and if somebody is really triggered and they're like, blah, 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 and you come at it with compassion, somebody was like so gentle about it, like, listen, I hear that you've been hurt, and now you have this belief people are little shits, but, and she basically showed through her comment, like, I was able, the softness and the relaxedness I felt, because she was just saying, but, how is this the right response? Somebody else said, like, maybe fueling your anger isn't the healthiest thing for you. Agreed. When people were saying, like, hey, Jess, that was very, very helpful for me. Like, yeah, actually, somebody else put it in a nutshell. Seems to me like you're getting pissed off because you expect people to have the same moral standards as you. Yes, in a nutshell, yes. I'm quite a moral person. I'm righteous. Okay, I hold my hands up. I'm a righteous person, for better or for worse. And it's something I'm learning to soften, but also manage, because I feel okay about having morals. I know that I want to make this world a better place, and that is really about being kinder to each other, self-reflecting, and stop betraying ourselves and stop betraying each other. I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so in a nutshell, he was like, this has come up many times in my life because I'm so moral and righteous. Yes, I do expect people to do the same. Yes, I trip up on this lesson all the time. I know that that's not possible. I know I wouldn't even want it. Like, I'm a big fan of free will. I do think what I like about free will is to prove that we can make the better choice, but maybe we can't. And that's all right too. We're all going to die one day. So yes, I do trip up on that lesson a lot. And thank you for the reminder. That's kind of what happened, right? Somebody else brought in society that this behavior is rewarded in our society. Narcissistic, selfish behavior is rewarded. And it is, like, look at business. It's all about competition. It is all about lying. This is what this person said. It's about stepping on other people to get ahead. It's a climate of, ugh. And of course, in the capitalist society that we have been born into, it does reward selfish behavior. Now, this is another approach that, for me, depersonalizes the actions, and is another way to bring compassion. It's not the individual, it's the society. And it's just a different approach or a different perspective to take. And it does work for me because I like this zoomed out. It helps me because when I get in very personal, I'm very emotional there. I am. And I do have a big ego, right? So it takes over sometimes. And Yeah, and what I'm doing every day is learning to be human. I'm learning to be human. And that comes with like all of it, right? Which means like some days, like yesterday, I act very human in that I'm angry, I'm stressed, I'm like blaming people. You know, that is a facet of being human as well. And like learning to be human is in a way allowing myself to do that and look at the feedback. Very mixed, very mixed. I know if I'm going to make a video where I'm triggered, of course it's going to trigger people, right? And I'm just, I cannot tell you how juicy this whole thing has been for me. I'm like really excited to live again because this is it. This is how I learn to be human. I make huge, massive mistakes online. It gets all sorts of feedback. And then I'm like, okay, so how do I want to be human? How do I want to be human? Comes back again to free will. How am I going to use it? Am I going to use it in this neggy, low frequency way? Or am I going to show up more open hearted? And I'm going to do both probably until I die. Like, I don't know if it's possible to always remain in an open heart living state. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe I'll see if I can do that. And on the days that I don't, all right, it's very juicy what's in there for me. So, yes, let me just think if there's anything else I want to say, because I take full accountability that that was not my best work. I cannot explain how much I've got out of it. So making horrible mistakes can be very, very fruitful. That is the word, isn't it? Fruitful. Like I want to bite into a mango. There's so much juice. And yeah, we're all doing the best we can. I think another thing is like my impatience. My impatience, basically, I'm an impatient person. And when I've learned a lesson, I do have this thing where I expect everybody else to know already. And it's so not fair. It's not fair. The lives of these people that I'm talking about, they have their reasons for doing it, right? And it's not so easy. I remember like quite a few years ago, I was really struggling with something and I didn't know the way out. And I went to a teacher, much, much older than me, very wise, very mature. And I shared with her my difficulties. And all she could say was, "Why do you give your power away?" And then she walked off. And I was like, is that supposed to help me? Like, I don't even know that I'm giving my power away. I don't know what else to do. And that was a few years ago. And now a few years on, I completely understand her. I know where she's coming from. It does get a bit tiring when you've done a bit of work. But for me to stand here and be like, what are they doing? Isn't fair. It's not. Just be patient. A few years ago, I was in the same boat, you know? In a few years, I'll look back on this and be like, duh, how little I knew. So I really have to be more patient with other people's journeys and like let go and like let them live. So I'm very sorry. The reason that story, these people's stories affected me so much is because I have a wound of betrayal. So if I hear a story of people betraying each other under the same roof, that touches on my pain and I'm like intolerant of it. And maybe we're all intolerant of the ways that we were hurt or the ways that we hurt other people and we don't know about it. So yeah, compassion is a really, really helpful thing, isn't it? Forgiveness, like I have zero shame about what happened yesterday because it has brought me so many lessons. Even though I didn't show up correctly, you know, even in my own moral universe, it wasn't wise what I did yesterday. It just wasn't wise. And it's okay. I don't always need to be wise. I don't always need, no one does. But I really got to check myself. I really do. I was triggered. And I was just like, me. You know? Actually, it's like, anyway, my current understanding of it, and for sure, this will change, right? Everything is always changing. Everything is always a moment in time. And I just don't think we should hold, well, I'm talking to myself, but it's interesting. Like, maybe this is just a collective lesson we're learning at the moment. Who knows? definitely something for me. So I feel like I'm going a little bit loose now. So I'm going to leave it there. Like the video if you liked it. Let me know your thoughts down below. But keep it kind if you are going to interact with me or other people. You don't have to, but I think you should. I would appreciate that. And if it gets a bit messy, I'll get in with my tough love. Anyway, yeah, because this is a space that I'm creating. So actually, yeah, I do want it to be respectful. And if you're completely new and whatever reason you like this content, hit subscribe and I'll see you in the next channel. Have a beautiful day and a beautiful life. We've got this.